Hi, Jessica.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, gosh, you came just in time. We're about to introduce Rhiannon McGavin. And how do we introduce Rhiannon McGavin? Rhiannon was one of the Youth Poet Laureates of Los Angeles, just to name a tiny fraction of the ridiculous career that she has already had. Grocery List Poems is her sophomore title. And it's nothing short of a privilege to be working with Rhiannon in this capacity. It was such a generative process creating this book, working with Sam Sachs to get it to where it is. Rhiannon just really made a phenomenal book. And I think it's already been mentioned so far where this book is a companion for you, the reader, to carve out space, a soft, delicious space for yourself. And I think right now that is just a magnificent function of poetry. And so with that, I'm really thrilled to bring Rhiannon McGavin to the stage.
Hi. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. This is so incredible. My friends are short. Weren't they great? Weren't they like so good? I'm so glad. Sheila and Isabella are some of my favorite poets and people, so I'm really glad that they could be here tonight. And I am so grateful and happy that all of you are here tonight. Thank you so much. You made it. You made it. You got to Glendale on a Friday night at like 7. That's incredible. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm gonna open things up with I'm gonna bust open the mosh pit with a sonnet. This is a manifesto in an unknown language. No, I couldn't sleep. I'm building my lungs from the smell of rain and the bus driver's soft wave when I'm broke. From a sea that carves cracked bottles into gems and a stranger's laugh runs a vein of silver through the night. A love cut from the dark when a kissing scene fades on a film screen. Say the last time someone touched me with a tender feeling and I'll eat the clock. Name the next time. Win all the lucky pennies I've thrown away, waiting for that love like a nasturtium. The petals with their birthday candle flame, hot and sweet. The kind of love in my steps where empty rooms are only rooms you've left. It's so special to be here at the new junior high too. I met Faye Orlove, who's the founder of this incredible space, when I was about 17 or 18. I was still in high school and I was at the Staples on Sunset in Hollywood printing copies of my zine. And she was the other person at the photocopy machine making flyers for the first ever junior high fundraiser. And from there I was like, well, obviously I need to know what this is. And here we are, and it's such a beautiful new space. This is Top Note. There must be a tree rooted to the dusty floor of this yellow evening bus for all that it smells of pear blossoms. The crushed white flowers spread on the workday air. Although now I see you, beyond our fellow dozing travelers here, you by a window with your dark hair twisted up, leaving the back of your neck smooth above your blue collar, and surely there you spritz the perfume before going wherever you're going. The fog tendrilled back to me, swaying on the silver pole, my mouth a touch open as it was when I walked with the other little girl unsupervised to the old orchard for green pears like birthday money and uncut jade. Green pears so full you had to commit to each bite, a promise both hands needed to swell the curve, picked from the sun side of a tree which caught the most sugar, fruit warm as the July bursting around it, and another, of course. How she would pick each pear with a twist, delicate as how she dropped a white mouse in the aquarium of her garden snake. Disgusting. Before we came here to these trees, grown past their corset grid, the roots tangled and hidden as this day, pulp junk, pear juice over our faces like a second skin when we jump into the spring where we could have drowned but didn't, water deep and clear as a crystal ball and rippling our legs into harmonica songs, and still the tang of pears in your mouth like a gulp of wine stolen from the dinner table, and the blooms thick on the breeze as you step off the bus now. And I'll never know if your name bends the sunlight, hun, we'll never touch. But over your pulse, you take with you this sweetness. This next poem is called, sorry to mom, this next poem is called Hickey. You do love them. Kisses you can carry with you. A string of dark river pearls kept warm under your collar. Your mouth dizzy just looking at that summer storm, violet over your chest, the red velvet clouds near crackling. You love the shy ritual after, a long turtleneck to cover up those ruffled leaves of purple basil that blush for me, and all of our mornings, worn soft. How your old blue shirt's frayed to lace, so when I wear it, with my legs swinging off the kitchen counter while you futz with tea leaves, you see plums, the plums that grow on my skin, backwards, petals, wind, to your breath, again. I love Sheila reading those poems about heartbreak with like a fat engagement ring on her finger. Like really just, you know, I say I'm engaged, actually. So as much as I love to get drinks or your number or followed home, I'm already taken. I say, waggling my left hand to sparkle the glass ring I bought at the flea market for this precise purpose. It's true though, I am engaged by gravity, as experienced bicycling downhill, by eavesdropping, by a fresh latte with sour cream and chives and a little lemon juice and hot little pecks of red pepper flakes, and how I pant, catching the yucca trees whisper up the street, proves that I am spoken for. This next poem is based on a dream that I had, and you can interpret that however you want, because I'm still a little fuzzy on it. Kneeling on the bedroom floor, I am circled by 1,000 glasses full to the lips with the ways I've taken birth control. Hot mulled cider, pineapple juice, Manischewitz, the tap waters of various countries cupped in my hands, sips from what the lovers are having tonight, dregs of black tea leaves, spinach smoothies, red slushies, whatever's in reach around 9 to swallow the pills easy and pink as the sunset. I've known what I want, but forgot where the shame is. I'll take it, with the dry salt of my own spit if I must, head thrown back with a real laugh, like an orgasm, undeniable. Yes. So now that we're all thinking about orgasms, this next poem is about my grandmother. Chanel number 5. Nana, who would sing Nazi pigs at whoever she saw exiting the country club, kept her bottle by the sink. You spritz it on your knees so it flies around when you're dancing, she explained to me, stooped on the Formica counter before she pinched my back so I sat up straight. Do that now. Her fingerprints still webbed the square vial, the almost invisible glass, adorned with the name of a woman who slept through the occupation in a Ritz suite with a propaganda officer. A woman who, there's no sexy way to say it, made career ladders out of fascism. This scent, Melanie pressed, unknown, to her wrists, her neck, The nights out in heels like hi-hat cymbals, the days waiting for no letters to hold, no news from the cousins, entire fields of roses crushed and drained in the air around her. When she ate orange peels on the sunset trolley to her first job, the pins and needles fizz of aldehydes when she eloped in a dark blue negligee at the age I am now, the same solage through the blacklisted years she walked, with her red nails curled to fists in her pockets, thumbs on top of her knuckles, ready. Over her empty vinyl raincoat hangs the musk, like new names picked for Hollywood. The perfumes curdled, the amber clotted down the sides. You'll love it, she'd say. You've got to learn to swing. I love when people are like, oh my God, Coco Chanel was a Nazi. We gotta boycott Chanel. Okay, cool. I was already doing that with no politics attached. Everybody, please buy lots of copies of the book so that I can choose to not buy a $90 lipstick. My God. How are we doing for time, Daniel?
Oh, you know.
Okay, I'll just keep talking.
Oh, forever.
I think we're doing great.
We
Okay.
never closed.
You say that. Thank you so much to the wonderful staff of junior high. And thank you so much to Skylight Books for hosting. Skylight Books just had a successful union drive, so give it up for Bread and Roses. We love everybody that works for Skylight. We love a union shop. On the first day of the general strike, we filled the streets like stitches in blankets, like sap in maple trees, like breath in wind, like hammocks, like a heart, like paper plates, after we made the Whole Foods a kitchen and split a country club into breakfast tables. And some of us grabbed another biscuit, some of us napped, some read romance novels as the sun on our skin sugared to memory so we would never settle for workday fluorescence. And the kids aimed themselves and rolled down a blood emerald hill on the golf course, worlds turning around them. On the first day, this dirt began to leach the old poisons, dreaming what else it could be. I hate the golf courses. I hate them so much. Sometimes the poem's about a thing that hasn't happened yet, but you have to write it so that you can see it. See them be claimed. So part of the reason why this book is called Grocery List Poems is because of the work of this filmmaker, Agnes Varda. She was like the woman of the new wave. And I have my wonderful mommy to thank for introducing me to her films at an impressionable age. And in her obituary a few years ago, I read this wonderful line. It says, writing a grocery shopping list before going to the market is a poem to me, and I'd already decided on the title, and that just confirmed that I was correct in what I was doing. And one of my favorite films of hers is this documentary that came out in 1981 called Murmurs, and it's about street art in Los Angeles. It's about public murals and graffiti and all of the ways that the people of the city put their mark on the city, and it's so beautiful. And it's great because she's a wonderful, compassionate filmmaker, but because she is French, we have to forgive her. There's still this. It feels a little bit like a nature show. Just a little. These are the Americans. Yes, they roller skate through Venice. They do a little cocaine. They have no health care. But it's so beautiful, Murmurs, the film, because I wasn't there in the 70s, but I recognize the streets and the corners and some of the buildings and even some of the paintings, the ones that have survived all of the construction and renovations and gentrification that the city has gone through. And it's so beautiful to see it honored in that way, and even to just have a memory of those ghosts. So this is Murmurs. As for me in Los Angeles, I mostly saw walls. Begins the winding creek, a Varda's voice over her restored film, about as long as a sleep cycle. Murals as living, breathing, seething walls, living in the sense that they can be destroyed. But these walls don't sell you anything, she says, as she pans through Hollywood, catching what anyone might see as they wait on a curb for the light to change. The anonymous thrash of traffic, billboards stilted in the public air, cut-out lips and nails radioactively large and red in their frames, or sometimes the ad takes extra scaffolding against the sky, the pose reached outside its rectangle as though the Lumiere train really did crash through the movie screen to offer the screaming crowd a Dr. Pepper. Same as now. Any flat space was marked with the best tricks. Technicolor, airbrush, sex, chiaroscuro, all caps, jerking the eye, no worse than a toddler on a leash down the street, demanding to look, remember, purchase. A mural has a different song. A mural in this city feels like a tree just glowing with limas from a block away. The branches baby yellow and drooped over a private fence, yours to pocket, which also feels like a friend waving from the other end of a subway station, a face suddenly in close-up with a persistent gaze. The first mural of the documentary is not an argument for soda or a car accident, but it does call your attention. The old woman of the freeway stares over the 101 and its dry ivy, which believes it lives in a windstorm. She is painted to the scale of memory on the side of a hotel. Her hands are an olive tree. There's the lunar halo of her hair, a few gray strands curling away, then a blue moon pinned behind her, a cyanotype thumbprint on the black space, the same thick dark as when you squeeze your eyes shut, trying to remember something important. Around her housecoat, she holds a blanket that the painter's real grandmother made, though the woman here is an actress. The colors of the granny squares spiral into each other, lavender, ruby, aquamarine, ochre, yarn like the layers of tags, mythic serpent of signatures down a long wall where the opening credits flash. And her face, lined with bricks and skin, she has the expression of living in the desert all spring. The sky was open when she walked through the hills, only watching birds, leaves, healthy clouds, other people, no poreless grins or logos larger than her body. Now she's back to the city and realizing how much quiet space she could move within, just her hands at rest and a blanket and whatever else the night held. And all of this, all of it, whitewashed a few years after the movie was shot and replaced with your ad here. And it's impossible, but I swear from shotgun, I've seen those eyes driving home, floating bold through the smog. I hate golf courses, I hate billboards. Obviously I was born in the right place. I'm so excited for people to read this book. Oh my goodness. I've been working on it for so long, and it is really my favorite writing that I've ever done, and it's so wonderful to actually be reading it to people in person. It's such a gift. So the middle of this book, my friends are going to be able to mouth this in sync with me because I've explained it to them so many times the last 3 years. But the middle of this book is given over to a series of poems called Dream Diary, and it is a crown of sonnets. A crown of sonnets is where you have 14 sonnets. So the last line of the first poem becomes the first line of the second poem, and so on until the final line of number 14 becomes the first line of the first sonnet. Now I didn't do all that. It's very complicated. So I have a crown of sonnets with its shoes off. It's a little loose. It's a little free. The sweat is falling away. Yeah. This is Dream Diary. Number 1. Real as the mosaic wind between screen and projector is the dream where my first teeth slid like zippers along my gums, or the world where boiled eggs charge cameras, so I'm running down market aisles for batteries before the shoot, or me and the host of my favorite documentary series stopping in a haunted house. Awful lot of rain, says my 8th grade crush, which I know can't be true since our hometown is in flames again. Arms wrung with guilt, the aquanaut troops in, fins backwards from the Louvre, alarms ringing to sift the sea through gold frames and wait. Swear that's how it happened, how it was. Number 7. The aftershocks shake like a swallow's hymn when the live stream of my temple goes red, then static as smoke over the camps full again, the camps that were never empty. Wire cages at the archives smother every lost and stolen mirror, bolted like my nails to the hospital tile, while a blackberry rope pulls whatever I thought was my woman body towards his shadow. Under the burnt stage lights, I lose the lines to Hamlet, so I start shouting fire for the theater of reparations officers, and flames wide as Hollywood scream against the hollow door of my jaw. Number 8. Seems as if the whole soul does fly from you for such sights, says my uncle, the rabbi, as he dips rugula in his tea. Dew winks on the ivy at Shea Marian. I don't know how I should talk about it, I shrug at this man who squints just like me. Dream sans inquiry are letters unread. What do we learn out from this? You gesture your black swan of a coat sleeve for answers. To sleep near a dictionary? A dream is to prophecy as heartbeat to waltz. Who can choose when to dance? My uncle, gone wars ago, checks his wristwatch, which returns with him into the record of my blood. Number 9. Wind hums into the wrinkles of my map, crumpled until the corners of Paris I remember best can touch. Notre Dame rolls above Place des Vosges, and every gate holds June bouquets. Rosebush Road now runs past the memorials, past secondhand books, past abalone buildings whose shutters blink sly as cats. It stretches exactly where we swung our feet over that silk scarf of a river, the days I cupped your grin's hot ember. You sail another last kiss off the neon street below as lindens burst through the balcony, and in my bed here, I brush yellow petals from my eyes. How are we doing for time, Daniel? Thank you,
Yes.
Jessica.
It's almost 8 o'clock. What are you targeting?
Like half an hour.
Oh, yeah.
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 What are you targeting? I'll just keep talking.
I think, yeah, well, keep going for it, right? We're good, Eden,
Okay.
right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's a Friday. Shabbat Shalom. Boo Shabbos. I'm going to start this next poem with a line from Abraham Joshua Heschel from the Sabbath, one of our most influential American rabbis of the 20th century. Time to us is sarcasm, a slick and treacherous monster with a jaw like a furnace, incinerating every moment of our lives. 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I'll bite the calendar if it looks at me like that again. With its white squares like lace curtains drawn tight over the windows of a house I'm not good enough to live in. I keep misreading the metal signs to beware of God. I'm unaccomplished, unwanted, unaware, unwanted, unforgivable, unbelievable, unbrushed, understood. I'm made of blue light and split ends. Guilt lines the soles of my shoes, and I only know time passes because I've clocked enough of it for groceries and another bill's here. Every so-called morning, I wake up in my teenage bedroom with the same voids clawed over me. What's time with all of this hot air, these open gutters of old feeling to fall through, arbitrary as any American holiday? Around me, the walls have long arms. These hours, I am never more than an inch from tears, but I'll cut a red exit. I'll be cold stars, and the clean snap of a second hand calling forth a new year. New me, baby. When breath comes easy as that mechanical twitch onward, I want a year that looks good naked. A year with no murder. When the new facts I learn about other people are not terrible. I want a year bigger than another date in the electronic checkbook of our many employers. What's time with all this hot air? Through the financial district I walked last December with more than the general sense of dread, watching their office windows fracture the final sunset of that alleged month, their buildings silvered and spiked like failed spaceships as the fog bled into the rootless dark of a new year. Now the president's voice emerges from every surface, and I'm thinking of the 3 weeks during the Paris Commune, when they named the days for flowers that a person could touch and smell and see grow. And the tangerines here are drier each spring like a dead man's lip, and like a corpse, the weather slumps forward through the calendar. The sun, noon drunk all winter until it's never not fire season. I don't want to be in the moment. The moment is trying to kill us. I want the drag race momentum of a promise I have so far kept. I'm counting down now to midnight on this June Tuesday in the summer of my enemies. Like the names of missing cats, I call out my sins. And yes, the others I forgive for being as late and foolish. Yeah, I too am slow and regret more than what I do, but inside regret is a white bird whose long neck the oil companies have not yet wrung. A bird whose defense is flight. God, and I'm running through the house, gathering my wrongs where I left them, the ones congealed and crusted, the wine glasses ringed with my mouth's peeled shadow, all the vases of funeral flowers gone sepia, all the dirty mirrors uncovered. And the sink is so full of lonely, lonely dishes I can hardly turn the faucet, but look how this goddamn poisonous tap water sparkles more than any top shelf champagne. I'm posting every car stuck on the 101. Everybody trapped in this particular rush hour. Let us be better than our lost days. Let them blur into wet paint. All of our wrongs I throw up into shards of fireworked glass, the whole porcelain cabinet of shame cracked to gunpowder, and I'm barefoot in the intersection, open mouth kissing the air like a goldfish, with the world's longest memory for a goldfish, all the time coiled into flashing yellow guts. Now, Happy New Year. Say it back now. Happy? Happy?
New Year.
View from Magic Hour. It's that time when the city behaves like an orange peel, squeezing gold from every pore as the sun hits just so. Those stucco apartment walls softer than the lips of magnolia petals, underneath the nests that starlings must have crafted from lost jewelry, tucked up on the shoulders of saints by the church door, their stone faces weathered away until they're girls again. And the people here, too, squinting in this honeycomb cloud at the crossroads of the world, as if everybody stepping off the sunset rapid can see their best love anywhere they look, by windows, on wings, in the broken sidewalks, and in those very cracks, the same light pulls wild clover from the bees, swirling low, and who knows where among the skyscrapers that hive is. But there they go anyway, collecting their public, secret joy. Thank you so much for coming out. I put my shoes back on. That was my last little poem. It is now golden hour. Thank you so much. Thank you.